All right, let's apply PROTECH, Symbiotech PROTECH to this Caiman boot. Now, PROTECH is the world's most advanced, longest lasting, most durable protection product for fine leathers, exotics, vinyl, anything in that category. So in your box, you're going to have a 15 ml bottle of PROTECH, which is enough to do between 5 to 10 pairs of boots, or 10 pairs of shoes, and a no-soak applicator. The applicator has a barrier in between the two sides, so the product is not going to soak through. We're going to use the secondary side as a leveling towel towards the end of this. So we're going to start by folding our applicator into force, and we're going to apply a few drops, 5 to 6 drops on the leading edge, and we're going to do a test spot. Now, PROTECH is safe on any leather or vinyl surface as long as it's a smooth finished leather. That being said, you always want to do a test spot to just ensure color fastness. Now, I've never had an issue with this before. It was designed to apply to any smooth or finished leather, but because this is an exotic hide, it is already dehydrated, so you just want to make sure that you're going to be happy with the look and feel afterwards. So after 5 minutes, you can see things look good, and I'm very happy with the finish, so I'm going to go ahead and start my application process. So I'm going to reapply to my applicator about 10 drops, which is enough to get me most of the way through this front area. And then I'm just going to start working in the direction of the material. If you're working with a snakeskin or something like that, you want to go with the direction of the scales. This being a Caiman, it doesn't really matter, but I do want to make sure that I work it very well into the hinges of this, as that's going to be the area that is the most susceptible to damage. I'm going to reapply as necessary. Again, just a few drops is all it takes, and I'm going to do the back side of the boot now, the side and the back side, and I'm really going to make sure that I'm working it down along the area of the sole and the vamp where they meet. Now I'm going to hit the back real quick, work that in. Now what I'm going to do next, I'm going to adjust my applicator so that I have product on both sides of the crease, and that is so that I can get that area I was just referencing, and that is where the vamp and the sole meet, which is the lowest to the ground, so it's the area that sees the most potential for damage. And really just make sure I get my applicator deep down in there and get as much of that covered as possible. And the toe box as well. The toe box is super important because it's the leading edge that's going to take the most damage. Now, if you're going to do the upper, which I typically don't do the upper or the shaft, but for demonstration purposes, I'm going to do that. Now's the time to do it. I just do one layer always on my upper because it is protected by my pants, so I don't need to worry about water damage and staining and things like that as much, or just overall wear and tear, scuffs and scratches. So now that I've done my base application, I'm going to wait 10 minutes, and I'm going to come back and check it and then do a secondary test spot. So 10 minutes later, and it is dry to the touch, so the product has soaked it. One of the things about PROTECH is it breaches down and protects the entire area. It doesn't just sit on the surface like all the other products out there. So now I'm going to take my applicator and I'm going to apply a few more drops, and I'm going to do a second test spot. Now this is to determine whether or not I can do 2 layers on this boot or not. Now, as you're going to see, after my second application, I don't love it. I'm not going to do a second layer. Not that it's going to cause any damage, but what it did is some of those darker accent points, it lightened them just slightly, and I love the look of this boot, and I don't want to change anything about it. So the first layer didn't change the aesthetics or the look of the boot. The second layer slightly darkened the lighter areas and slightly lightened the darker areas. So I didn't want that, so I'm just going to do one application on this boot. Now, I'm going to take my applicator and I'm going to fold it into force the opposite direction. So I'm going to use the back side of this applicator as my leveling towel. Now, even though it's dry to the touch, I'm just going to take and ensure that there's no leftover material on the surface. Fold it into force and just do one quick pass around the entire boot to make sure I've leveled off any excess. Now, you're not trying to remove the product. You're just trying to remove any additional product or any product that may still be wet. In fact, in most cases, I don't even do this step. As long as it's dry to the touch, it's good to go. So, and there you go. There is your application of PROTECH on this Caiman boot.